What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Andre King coming at you today. And today's video is actually going to be a fresh take on one of the content creators that I've been following here for quite some time on the platform. It's the idea that he had in his last video that I'm going to actually do a slight twist on here. But without further ado, the content creator I'm talking about is actually Celesio here, as you can see. This is his YouTube channel, and I'm actually going to link the channel as well as the video down below. But to get an idea of kind of where I'm starting with, or the frame that I'm coming from, let me go ahead and play a small short snippet of that video. So without further ado, here's going to be the idea.
I got a question for you. How many Cisco exams do you think I failed before becoming a CCIE? Now, I want you to write this number on a piece of paper, and by the end of this video, we're going to see the number of times that I failed. And just write in the comment section just to know how close you were to the real.
So that's really the question that Celesio posed there, in full transparency, as you can see here in the comments. We definitely wanted to give him credit and kind of just, for respect, give him permission to say, do you mind if I do a video kind of similar to yours, and of course share your content? And he obliged, and a great supporter here, of course, of the channel. So he actually took almost the same number of attempts on Cisco exams as I did, which is pretty amazing. And if you've ever been in the Cisco track of exams for, I would say, at least 2 years and taken a few certs, you know that the amount of just tests that they have, especially from 2010 onward, is really amazing. It's almost incomparable from any other vendor. Way back then when I used to take them, if you pass something like, say, CCNP security, you'd get like 10 different certs or badges for specialty type exams. So, but without further ado, I have taken 29 certification attempts, not counting the CCIE lab itself. So I'm going to show you real quick how to also see that here, and I'm going to do a different take here. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And again, big shout out to Celesio there. Great content. So if we log into our dashboard, all you have to do is navigate to your testing history, click on exams, and then you'll see here, if I expanded this, it'll just fit all of these tests on our test attempts on one page, and we can sort by the exam date, etc. But these are all of my attempts, and so really just transpose this onto this Excel sheet here. And so this one is actually color coded a little bit differently. It's not a pass fail type model that I want to pose to you today, but in all transparency, I just want to really quickly and succinctly share the path and the thought here. So these first groupings that you see here, highlighted in yellow, it's my phase one in the networking field. And so just a little brief background there. When I started in true IT, as it relates to kind of almost making it to the network side, there's a lot of customer support roles and help desk, and I cut my teeth there, saw and learned a lot. And I always am an advocate of really starting there, because you get a great sense of really what is available in the IT field, not only within your organization, but taking customer calls about security, voice, printers, just various different things will help you to not only become a better engineer, but to also pique your curiosity on what different discipline that you may want to pursue beyond the support desk there. So for me, getting my CompTIA Network Plus, which was my very first certification long ago, that might have been 2008, it is the certification that allowed me to start there in the help desk. But again, looking here, this is when I started actually working overseas. So in 2012, May, in a previous video, I shared that I actually was stationed at Camp Bastion, or Camp Leatherneck, there in Afghanistan, supporting the Marines there. And so it was where I was predominantly imaging the computers for the Marine Corps. I think we were on Windows 7 then, or maybe going to Windows 7. It actually eludes me there. But we could see here that, I split up my CCNA. Back then, you could take ICND Part 1 and 2, and the suggestion was if you had no networking experience or you couldn't get hands-on to a switch or router back then, one of these exams were pretty much concepts, subnetting, IPv4, IPv6 they touched on a little bit, and just the concepts of switching, TCAM, CAM tables, MAC addresses, etc. And then the second exam was mostly actually switching and some configs to make sure that you understand it. So for me, I actually took the avenue of splitting them up and luckily passed both of them on the first go. And so these other exams here, as you can see, still in 2012, but you can see there's a slight gap there. But in the fall, I was actually there probably, I think I started February, March. So within 6 months, I kind of knew I had done tickets for security, IA type things, walked around the camp with different folks to eat lunch with them from them. But I knew early networking is predominantly what I wanted. And so we used to see job postings there all around. And so they always needed a candidate that had a CCNP. And so my phase one, like I said, is really just if I had to summarize it up, it's the rush to basically get roles or a job and to really just ascend and grow. So this period here, 2012, all of this, and this is phase two that I'll explain here shortly, is really a rush to get that CCNP so that I could get the role back then, which certifications were typically, unfortunately, a bit more important than experience. The tables have kind of flipped these days. And you can see T-Shoot was a bummer for me. T-Shoot gave me 2 failures there. And again, this was really, I did get my hands on the meth shop there. They did let me kind of come in, luckily, and kind of sit with them, not really touch the network, but I could do some left seat, right seating with some of the network engineers there. And I was with Rockwell Collins there. So again, long story short, my phase one was just all about knowledge, absorbing things as I could, trying to get some information from others in other disciplines or other fields all around the camp, and just perseverance. You know, if I pass some of these, you can see fell here. I think we had to wait 5 business days. Second attempt, our third attempt was literally less than 6 days later. And I think the next job here, I went to Kandahar. Yeah, that's when I started with GDIT there and met a lot of lifelong friends there before going on to Lockheed Martin. But that's because I got my CCNP. So I left there after February, came back overseas and started here. But succinctly, that's my phase one on these pass and failures and getting out of the associate level into professional. Now, phase two is what I like to call, for me at least, my sustainment period. A lot of this involves keeping the certification up to date. You see here the date that you actually took the exam and sat for it. And when you pass it, of course, 3 years later, we typically have that expiration date. So back then, I think CompTIA was one of the only ones that had the concept of CE or continuing education credits. Everyone has them now, unfortunately. So then Cisco, you just needed to take a test that was equivalent or higher. So if you had a CCNP and you had it across multiple tracks, security, voice, or collaboration, you could just take any exam to renew both. You didn't have to take one from voice and one from routing and switching. It would renew all certifications laterally and under that you had for another 3 years. But my how times have changed. So really here, this was just my curiosity phase of really trying to spread my wings. Not literally, but just within technology. A little Mariah Carey song. But going to design, I did a little bit of voice. Touched on data center, didn't pass there. I was like, ooh, let me leave that alone. But data center has definitely exploded here in that time on, ASICs, FCOE, just the leaf, spine leaf type technology. And that's really what I'm kind of want to put my teeth back into next, to validate some knowledge and get some hands-on experience. But This was really just going, like I said, east to west and getting out of route and switch or networking and touching the other disciplines. And even through these failures, I won't say the struggle, but anytime you truly study for yourself knowledge, and of course, maybe oftentimes it's for trying to get a role, but regardless, if you put your sweat equity into it, the knowledge that you gain out of it, and some of it you may not, may even if you retain 2 or 3% of it down the road, you'll remember some of that stuff, not for an interview or for a test, but when troubleshooting or a concept won't look brand new, you'll remember, oh, I heard about that. So I don't have to start at page one. Let me go to this specific part of, fiber channel over Ethernet and let me see, so just different things there that you can have. And this right here is actually a funny story why this is highlighted in red. Let me actually, I should have had it pulled up, but I'm going to show you an email real quick. But before I do, just simply take a look here at this. I guess we could look at this column here. So when I passed this exam, or I passed some exam that was probably in 2014, we can see that this expiration date is 5/14/2017. And so we see how close to this date, because there's a big lapse. 2016, I didn't take any exam, the beginning of 2017. But the rush to take this one was actually because all of my certs would have expired on 5/14/2017 had I not passed some sort of professional level cert or equivalent. So we come here to this email, and I was actually switching jobs here. We see that this attempt that I failed in May 5th of 2017, I was actually overseas in Kabul getting ready to come home, and I didn't pass that one. So I had to actually sit some extra days in Dubai. And so actually, I don't have the email from this past attempt here in 5/11, but long story short, I actually had to sit in Dubai a few extra days just to make sure that I could get a test date, because sometimes it's hard to find test dates when and where you want on Hack. But if I wouldn't have passed that time due to the restriction of having to wait 5 business days to take another attempt, at least back then, those were the rules. I have to check to see what they are now, but I'm sure they're similar. This was really an all or nothing type effort. And you really, the reason I highlight this in red is you don't want to place yourself in those type of ramifications. It doesn't have to be a Cisco cert, but when you know kind of the timetable or the lifetime of a cert, just backdate that at least 3 months, I would say, maybe even 6, to give yourself enough time for things that come up in life to not have to go through such a precarious situation. So that's really the point or the moral of that story there. And then last but not least, just the rest of this really from 2017 on. I'm in, I guess, my phase 3 here, where you do certifications for yourself, kind of moving on to the consultant type part or journey of my life. From here on out, it won't be for any type of validation other than for myself. If a client or someone, if I needed to have something, then perhaps I would do it there. We see here one failure on the Cisco Meraki exam, and of course got that one on the second one, again spanning the scope here to wireless. So that's another one of those, not to say lessons, but again, everyone's journey is a little bit different. But for me, it's that I wanted to, of course, get a strong foundation, grow my roots into the routing and switching. But as you grow through life and get to live and learn and work on different networks, there's different opportunities, not just, to work, but to really get to touch or play with toys. Because I don't want to say back in my days, but Roberto Blake always says that. But really, back here, the concept of emulation and simulation is not that it wasn't foreign. It existed, but you really had to get your hands on some physical gear to know the technologies back then. The same doesn't hold true as much today. There's probably certain, like I got a friend of mine that always says for a lot of these data center concepts, you really do or should actually touch a box. There's no substitute for that. as opposed to a lot of the virtual type appliances that can give you most of what you need in almost any of these disciplines today, even on the security side. But there's subtle nuances that aren't present in physical boxes. Even when it comes to firewalls and like high availability or clustering, that just like it isn't available on certain type of platforms, or there's limitations. Those type of concepts, to really see it and poke around with it and truly know how things react, you do need to get your hands on some boxes. But belaboring the point now, but like I said, big shout out to my big homie there. I'm gonna actually, again, I know I keep saying it, link his channel and that video down in the description. But this again wasn't the same. Like I said, we can count the failures and pass. Again, I guess I didn't do it before, but out of 29 different exams, I had a, was that 10? I failed 10, passed 19, so almost 2 to 1, or I don't know. It's about a 60, almost a 66% success ratio. But like I said, the truth be told, we don't ever want to dissuade anyone's journey. And that's the real crux of it, is if it's someone's first time taking whatever exam it is, we don't ever want to diminish the meaning of that and the significance to harm their path or their journey. But as you go through your journey in life, the success and failures, at least for me, I cannot speak for anyone else, they mean something, but you got to learn how to let that roll off your shoulder and keep persevering. If it's a certification or there's a reason behind why you want to get it. I know that money, monetary, the cost of these exams continue to go up, can be a limiting factor for many of us around the world. We have to consider that most of these certs are provided globally in different countries where the dollar isn't the same. So that dollar definitely means a lot more in certain other places than just here in the U.S. So, but I really want to just stress that this has been a long journey, and there's a story behind each, at least the clusters of these type of things. And there's it'd be hours to really tell the entire story. But like I said, that video just sparked some memories, brought back some good lessons, especially this red right here on almost letting all of that go, and the why. So you invest so much time, like I said, sweat equity, and of course money in all of these attempts, even if the organization's paying for it, that you typically don't want to let certain certificates go. I get if you move on to life and you go to medical instead of IT, you might, why do I keep up with this or that? And you pick and choose your battles. But like I said, I just want to appreciate some of the exams. I don't even remember what they were. This right here, at least this code SNRS looks a little weird. But like I said, let's get back on point here. Like I said, I want to thank each and every one of you again out there for rocking in here with me today. It truly does mean a lot. I know this isn't your typical video here, and I kind of went sideways a bit there. But truly, like, as you can always tell, passionate about just various things when it comes to networking and just the path and the journey. That means a little bit more to me than just the end result. It's not to say gratification, but it's a what's the perfect word is eluding me right now. But basically trying to say that at the end of all of that hard work, it does validate the time and effort spent into it. But you got to kind of keep going on to the next one. Typically, like I said, there's gaps. There's going to continue to be gaps as I pivot to other things in the like automation. Like I said, I do want to get back into data center, get back into firewalls, a little bit more different things here, but they're not really on the Cisco side. Some are more on the cloud side. Some are more on the Juniper side or different vendors, and Palo Alto, of course. So wherever you are, wherever you're at in your journey, just know that you definitely got this. Just continue to plan, make a plan for yourself. Just like a target at the range, when it comes up, just pop. Can't say these words on YouTube these days, and just continue to hit your targets and continue to readjust. Like I said, if there's a misfire, just go back to the weak areas that you have there, buckle down just a little bit, and I'm definitely sure you got this one on the next one. And like I said, maybe X amount of years or months down the road, you'll be able to share your very own journey with someone that's coming up behind you that just may need to hear one little tidbit in that message. So, like I said, thank you all so much. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Peace.